Street Fighter is often defined by its conspiracies and its supernatural powers. Dark forces like the Satsui no Hado, or secretive organizations like Shadaloo and the Secret Society. But at its heart, the series has always been about something simpler, and perhaps more profound: the martial spirit. Few characters embody this better than Fei Long and Makoto. One is a global superstar, a martial artist who uses cinema to spread his craft. The other is a young fighter carrying the weight of her family's legacy, striving to rebuild that which was lost. Together, they represent two paths of the same devotion, one through their expression, and the other through preservation. First, we turn to the dragon of cinema himself, Fei Long, a martial artist and actor whose journey bridges the worlds of cinema and combat, revealing a fighter shaped as much by the screen as by the dojo. Modeled after Bruce Lee, Fei Long's story was clear from the beginning. Born and raised in Hong Kong, he started developing his kung fu at age 6, while also training for a career in the film industry. Eventually, he would be drawn into the world of street fighting in order to test his skills. In terms of the Street Fighter timeline, Fei Long's first appearance would be in Street Fighter Alpha 2. Though not making it into the roster of characters, he can be seen in the background of Dan Hibiki's Hong Kong stage. In Street Fighter Alpha 3, Fei Long was already a Hong Kong action star, said to be carrying the weight of the industry on his shoulders. Taking to the streets to hone his skills and find a good fight, he would end up facing two of Shadaloo's kings. Firstly, the boxer, Balrog, who seeks to tempt the martial arts star into a life of crime with the promise of riches. But Fei Long has no interest in such a life, nor associating with criminals like him. Next, the clawed Spanish ninja Vega demands Fei Long join Shadaloo and pledge his loyalty. Once again, he has no desire to do such a thing, and so the pair clashed. Finally, he met the dictator Bison, who asks him what it is that he desires. Money? A woman? Fame? It surely cannot be out of a sense of justice. But Fei Long has no patience for all of these questions. He's there to fight. Bison tries for a final time to make him join Shadaloo, but being a villain isn't the martial arts actor's style. He's also just not very fond of the dictator. After their fight, Bison admits that Fei Long is strong, but not strong enough, and activates his Psycho Drive, which lets him unleash a devastating Psycho Crusher. Fei Long remains standing, however, and as Bison attempts to land a final attack, he unleashes his own super move, destroying the dictator. After returning to Hong Kong, a hit movie called Street Fighter was made based on those events, propelling Fei Long to superstardom. Yet, he was unsatisfied. Having climbed the mountain of entertainment, he sought out a new mountain to climb. This would lead him to entering the World Fighting Tournament in Super Street Fighter II: The New Challengers, where Fei Long sought to test his fighting skills against the greatest fighters in the world. At the end of the tournament, he is approached by a film director. Impressed with Fei Long's performance and moves, he offers him a role in his next film and promises he can make him an even bigger star. But Fei Long turns the director down, stating that there could never be another legend like the Great One and his son. Instead, he will honor their memories by training even harder, so that one day he can pass on his knowledge. Stepping out of the limelight, Fei Long takes to the streets once more to hone his martial skills. His most recent major role came in Street Fighter IV. Back filming a new martial arts film, the staff on set are constantly coming under attack, meaning that his latest film, Street Tournament 2, has to be put on hold. The reason for the attacks seems related to the film's script, which originally had the villains of the film being an international crime syndicate. It appears that it was based upon a real-life organization, as the same syndicate had been used in the previous movie, though they were inactive at the time. Now that crime syndicate has resurfaced, though now acting as a legitimate weapons manufacturing company, SIN. Suspiciously, the film's sponsors now have reservations about the script. Fei Long puts the pieces together and sets out to take on SIN and its leader, Seth, by entering the latest World Fighting Tournament. Along the way, he meets Abel. Seemingly a big fan of both him and his films, he asks for a fight. After, Fei Long continues his investigations into SIN and finally confronts Seth, who monologues about how there are times where people come close to uncovering the truth and need to be crushed. Suddenly, Seth falls to the ground with a kunai sticking out of his back. Returning to the set of his film, Fei Long is greeted once again by Abel. It turns out that the film star is continuing to investigate SIN and Seth's demise, and Abel has information that Fei Long might find useful. After confirming that he is okay with being involved in something dangerous, Fei Long listens to what Abel has to say. Outside of cameos, such as in Rashid's inbox in Street Fighter V, Fei Long has yet to make it to a subsequent Street Fighter roster. Yet, in every appearance, Fei Long has remained consistent, a martial arts purist who views combat as art, performance, and truth. He is the dragon of cinema, fighting not for himself, but for the preservation of martial ideals. Where Fei Long's star shines for the world to see, Makoto walks a quieter path, one bound by inheritance, where every strike is an echo of her father's memory. Makoto's journey began in Super Street Fighter IV, where her story focuses on rebuilding the dojo she inherited from her recently deceased father. It seems her brother used his lack of talent in karate and starting his career as a businessman as an excuse for letting the dojo remain closed. With the dojo on the verge of collapse, Makoto steps out into the world of street fighting, entering the worldwide fighting tournament hosted by SIN in the hope of securing prize money and promoting her family's name and dojo. During her travels, she runs into Fei Long, whom she recognizes from his films. Makoto challenges him to a fight, hoping that defeating someone so famous will boost the reputation of her dojo. In her ending, Makoto returns home and begins the long task of restoration. It seems that, even though she beat the pants off the other fighters, Makoto walked away empty-handed, there being no prize money. She decides it will be better to make money the old-fashioned way, and not rely on get-rich-quick schemes. While daydreaming about restoring her family's dojo, she almost falls off the roof, scaring her brother and grandfather, who have both been watching her work from the ground below. In Street Fighter III First Strike, Makoto seeks to build a better reputation for her dojo by defeating strong fighters around the world, seemingly sparking up a rivalry with the Kunoichi Ibuki along the way. She also crosses paths with Elena, who wants to become her friend, though Makoto struggles to understand her way of thinking. Eventually, Makoto challenges Ryu, with the hope that fighting him will increase her dojo's reputation. In her ending, news of Makoto quickly spreads after having left behind a pile of defeated opponents. Later, a long line of prospective students wait patiently outside the Rindoukan dojo. Her brother beams with pride that his sister has managed to restore the family dojo, and, confident that it is in good hands, tells their grandfather that he is going on a trip, and to take good care of Makoto while he's gone. It seems like she'll be fine. Makoto's journey is one of fiery determination, but also of duty. While others seek glory or vengeance, she shoulders the burden of her family's legacy. Her victories are never for herself. They are for the revival of Rindoukan, for the spirit of her father, and for the students who will carry that art forward. And though her temper is fierce, and her path uncertain, Makoto's devotion makes her unshakable. She is not a celebrity, nor a wanderer. She is an heir, bound to protect and preserve what was entrusted to her. Fei Long and Makoto embody two very different ways that martial arts endure. Fei Long is the performer, a fighter whose mastery shines brightest when shared with the world. Through his films, his public battles, and his refusal to compromise his martial ideals for wealth or status, he ensures that the essence of martial discipline inspires countless others. His fights are not only struggles for victory, but demonstrations of art, passion, and truth. In his hands, martial arts become universal, reaching across borders and generations. Makoto is the heir, bound not by fame, but by legacy. Her fight is quieter, more personal, and more difficult to see from the outside. Every punch she throws, every match she wins, is done for the survival of her father's legacy. Where Fei Long's stage is the world, Makoto's is the humble wooden floors of Rindoukan, where students once trained under her father, and will continue to train in the future under her guidance. Makoto's victories breathe life back into a fading lineage, preserving the art not for audiences, but for apprentices who will inherit her father's dream. Together, their paths form a complete circle. One shares martial arts with the many, the other safeguards it for the few. One projects outward, the other roots inward. Both honor the same tradition, proving that martial arts are not only techniques of combat, but vessels of memory, discipline, and meaning. In the end, Fei Long and Makoto remind us that martial arts live on through more than fists and techniques. For Fei Long, it is through performance. Every strike he makes is a message, every battle a stage where martial ideals are preserved and shared with the world. For Makoto, it is about inheritance. Each fight is a duty to her family, her victory a step toward restoring the spirit of her father. Two paths, one truth. Martial arts endure when passed on, whether it's through the roar of the crowd or the quiet dedication of a student returning to train. If you enjoyed exploring Fei Long and Makoto's stories, let me know by giving this video a like. It really helps support the channel. Subscribe if you'd like to see more deep dives into Street Fighter's stories and characters. And let me know in the comments, do you resonate more with Fei Long's way of sharing martial arts with the world, or Makoto's of preserving it? Thanks for watching. Remember, be excellent to yourselves and one another, and I'll see you soon.
It's always something with that Fei Long. He's an asshole.